What's guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we have a final review on a 2023 Toyota Camry NASCAR. This is from just by Salvinos JR Models on their next gen or Gen 7 NASCAR kits. And first things first, the kit went together pretty good. Of course, this is not a good beginner kit, and I'll explain why here in a little bit. But first off, this is an aftermarket decal sheet we did on this one. This is by Three Amigos. You can buy this decal sheet at Printed Decals. So just because you're wondering, no, you cannot buy this particular kit, make this from JR Models because they don't have the license for Monster Energy. And I gotta say, this paint job looks pretty darn good. It looks pretty freaking cool. So let's go ahead and get to the nitty gritty of this build. So the next gen car from JR Models, these kits are pretty good. They go together pretty darn good, and they go together nicely if you know what you're doing. They are not a beginner friendly kit. They're more like an intermediate and expert modeler builders kit. I'm kind of more medium intermediate. I'm far from being an expert modeler, so I had some struggles on this kit again whatsoever. Not too bad because this is my fourth one I built. My very first one I built on these kits, I definitely screwed up the chassis a lot. So the more that you build up these kits, more better you get at it, and more you kind of understand on how they go together. So since this is my fourth one I built, this one went together pretty good. Again, there were some little struggle parts here and there, but nothing too major. Like I said, more you build, then the more you understand on how it goes together, and then the next one you build, it will go together much easier. So the more that you build, the more you understand on these kits. So this is definitely not a beginner's modeler. If you've never built one of these, make sure you just take your time and go slow. Again, there's going to be some times here and there that it's going to kind of piss you off at some point, like it did for me. But just understand, just go slow. And the instructions are kind of confusing as well. I kind of wish JR Models did the instructions a little bit more clear and a little bit more better. But then again, it does look pretty good, and it will go together. But there are some times that you do have to take your time. So let's go ahead and move on to the decal sheet. So like I mentioned, the decal sheet is from Three Amigos. You can buy them at the printedDecals.com. I'll leave a link down below to these particular decals. Now this decal sheet, Three Amigo decals are pretty darn good. Now there's the only bummer side about them is, one, there's no instructions on how they go together. Basically you have to look at a real car or look at a die-cast car of the one that you're trying to replicate, because there's no instructions on where they tell you where to place the decals at. And two, you do have to cut these decals out individually, which is kind of a pain. It's kind of very time consuming, especially on these, the headlights and the grille. You do have to cut them precise because they do go in some tight corners, you want to call it. And also you do want to cut them kind of close because that way it's less air bubbles and stuff. You don't have to come super close because again, they are clear backing, but you do want to come kind of close, so it's less decal that you have to worry about and get it to form and straighten down onto the body. But other than that, these decals are pretty high quality, and they look apart and they look really good. Now on this decal sheet, it is very time consuming, because all the green that you see, except for the Monster logo and the can that's in the trunk, all the green as a hood, the light green, everything is transparent green, the A power 2. So that means you have to put down the white, and then you have to put down the green on top of it, and it's precise. It's you have to put it on there correct, and you have to make sure it's precise because it's a very tight and correct fit. So that was a kind of pain. That goes even for the Beast logo back here, and even the little Monster Energy logo. So the green has to go on top of the white. So make sure you get the white down precise, and then put the green on top. And that was very time consuming on this decal sheet. That was the biggest pain. But other than that, the decals went down nice. It looks really good. I'm actually really happy on how this car looks, and I want to build it because again, this is a really cool and slick paint scheme, and it's really neat. This paint job or this decal sheet, I do not recommend for someone who does not like decals, or if you're trying to get in decals, I wouldn't recommend this one either, because this is just really time consuming. and it's kind of a pain because you do have to get the green directly onto the white, and that goes for all these little swiggeries you see here, the little green swiggeries and stuff. I mean, you have to get those precise, and even on the 45 there's a green outline that goes on the 45. You have to get that lined up perfectly. So I do not recommend this decal sheet for anyone that is, unless you are really addicted to decals such as me. I love decals, but man, this one definitely gets you. And yeah, so but really good decal sheet. I do love it. It looks fantastic, but again, it's very, very time consuming, and it's kind of expensive. I think it's over like 20 some bucks. So it is kind of expensive, but is it worth it? Yeah, it is definitely worth it for me anyways. But if you're not big in decals, then it's definitely not worth it for you, because again, this is really time consuming and it is kind of a pain. But other than that, that's it for that. The window net is made of Tamiya masking tape. So basically I just directly copied the one from the kit and just made it masking tape. That way I can have it in the down position, because obviously I want to see the interior. The wheels and brakes are 3D printed. The wheels are just much more, the spokes I should say, are much more skinnier and more to scale on this kit than the ones that comes in the kit, because kit ones, the spokes are kind of thick because it's for molding purposes and stuff. But so these are 3D printed. That goes along with the brakes. Brakes are much more detailed and more highly detailed and stuff, and they have more brake detail and stuff, which is fantastic. All the windows went down pretty good. There are some pieces here and there on the windows you do have to trim down just a little bit, because especially the side windows, they're a little big, so you do have to sand those just a little bit, not too major, but other than that, they will go in nicely. And then of course you do have your decals on the window, on the side, on the quarter window, and then obviously you got your name tag, so you do get some decals that goes on the windows. But other than that, they went down fantastic. I did cut out where the grill area is on the Toyota. On the Chevy, that is already open, but on the Ford and the Toyotas, that is completely shut. So if you want that open, you are gonna have to cut that open. I showed you how to do that on my first update video, and it's pretty simple. And I just put a piece of mesh behind it, and that gives it that open grill look. So it looks fantastic. But yeah, so that is molded shut on the Toyotas and the Fords. But other than that, that's pretty much it for the exterior. The chassis, not much to talk about. It's just flat, so we're not gonna get to that. But let's move on to the interior. The interior is where I kind of did some detailing. Now that's the thing about these next gen cars, these Gen 7 cars. There's not really much you can really detail, and don't even worry about it, because you can't see 90% of it. The part that you do see is the interior, so that's where I kind of detailed up. There is a 3D printed dashboard with a gauge cluster, or that gauge is a basically RPM cluster you want to call it, and a little transponder thing on the dash has also 3D printed. The seat is partially 3D printed. The only thing I used on the seat was the main bucket that comes in the kit, but all the foot, basically the knee rest and the headrest and stuff, is 3D printed. So that looks pretty good. Add some seat belts, so those look fantastic. Also, with another thing that is 3D printed is also the steering wheel, so that is 3D printed. But other than that, that's pretty much about it for the interior. I did add some light hoses and stuff in there for the oil cooling hose and stuff. And also one more thing 3D printed I forgot about is the shifter. The shifter is much more detailed than the one that comes in the kit. But other than that, that's pretty much about it. There's a little bit here and there on the carbon fiber. There's obviously a carbon fiber seat. Back of the seat is carbon fiber, and also the switch panel on the dashboard is carbon fiber as well. So that looks pretty good. And the whole interior is all white for the roll cage and stuff. They do call it to be like a really light gray, but it's not really light gray. It's more like a white. So just did it in white. Did also add some brake cooling hoses in the back as well. You kind of see through the back window, which looks pretty good. Looks really good, and that looks absolutely fantastic. But other than that, that's pretty much it for the interior. It's good, and I like it, and that's why we want to window that down so we can kind of see inside of it. The engine bay, it's not really to show about. You just have a bunch of carbon fiber, a bunch of pieces down there, all the venting and cooling stuff. So you can't really see the engine. The only thing that I did add to the engine was added a 3D printed TRD valve covers to the engine. That's pretty much about it, because that's all you're going to see on the engine bay. Other than that, the engine is completely hidden away, so I didn't even bother replacing the engine. Now, when JR Models designed these next gen, these Gen 7 cars, they were basically replicating the Chevy. So the engine that comes in these kits are basically the Chevy version of the NASCAR engine, but they obviously use it for the Fords and the Toyotas, because then again, there's no really reason to replace the engine if you can't see it. So they didn't replace the engine like that. But only thing that I do recommend is just replacing, if you are doing the Toyota or the Ford, just replace the valve covers and it's good enough, because like I said, you can't see any of it. So we didn't add any hoses or wires or plumbing down in there anyway, because again, most likely I'm not going to display the hood open when I take this to shows, because these stock cars, they look fantastic with the hood shut and everything enclosed, because that's what these NASCARs are really known for. These stock cars is just the paint job and the wrap. So this one, I'm gonna basically keep the hood shut and just have it display like this on a display when I take it to shows, because it's gonna display better than the hood open. And also, one more thing that is 3D printed on the exterior I totally forgot about before we wrap this video up is the hood pins. Hood pins are also 3D printed. They are more of a 3D effect. Much better ones that comes molded into the body from the kit, because you use decals and that's not really a good look. So you can see the hood pins, they look really good and they just stick up, make the real car, and it's really cool. So, but other than that, guys, that's it. Again, these next gen cars from JR Models, they are fun kits, very fun. They don't recommend them for any beginners. More intermediate modelers or expert modelers can definitely put this together with no ease. But other than that, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned. There's some pictures of it in the photo booth at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. But alright, guys, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed, and until my next video, we'll catch you guys next time.